I love games. I really do.
They will fight.
Games have been a part of my life since I can remember, and some of my favorite memories are connected to them. Be it the first time I opened Skyrim and was mesmerized by the world, going on a huge adventure of dragons and magic, or opening up Minecraft for the first time and realizing that this infinite world is mine to change. I could build, I could go on mining adventures, although finding out that mobs spawn in the dark was, let's say, a scary surprise. I think loving games dictated a lot of my life choices, including the profession. I started having a lot of interest in programming since early childhood, and I think that the interest first came from tinkering with my PC all the time, in order to play games better, fix crashes, optimize them, and so on. After some time I remember thinking to myself about a game. I wish there was more. That's exactly when I discovered what game mods were, and oh boy, there was more.
What in oblivion is that?
Sentries, what do you see?
It's in the clouds!
Dragon!
Modding is a process of modifying or altering game aspects. They can be very small, like changing a single texture in the game, or huge, DLC-sized additions to the game or complete overhauls. Mods are great for adding replay value to a game, extending their shelf life, and sometimes even inspiring new games. Honestly, I don't think I'd be playing Skyrim anymore if it wasn't for the mods. Team Fortress was originally a mod for the game Quake. Dota was originally a mod for World of Warcraft. And anybody remember DayZ? That was originally a mod for Arma 2. It didn't only inspire a new game, but was a huge part in making Battle Royale games what they are today. To make a mod, you need to somehow change assets or the code of an already existing game. As you might have guessed, that isn't the easiest task to accomplish. That's also probably the reason why mods are in this grey legal area. Fortunately, some games come with the built-in support for modding, but for others, people made tools, whole toolchains, APIs and editors, and so on to make modding easier. Tell a developer that they can't do something, and suddenly their motivation really goes next level. To give you some examples, for modding games made with Unity game engine, we have tools like Harmony, a library for patching, replacing and decorating .NET and Mono methods during runtime, DNSPy, a debugger and .NET assembly editor. You can use it to edit and debug assemblies even if you don't have any of the original source code available, and Asset Bundle Extractor, an editor for .assets and asset bundle files. It can create standalone mod installers from changes to those bundles or assets. As far as I know, Unreal Engine makes it easier to support modding, but you can check out a great repo from Buckminsterful Irene on GitHub to check out the modding tools that are used in Unreal Engine. Skyrim has the official creation kit and an official SKSC, Skyrim Script Extender, which gives you more ways to work with the scripts to make mods. Minecraft has Forge API and Fabric toolchain, both made by players. My first ever money from programming actually came from making a Minecraft mod, which you needed to watch ads to download. That was a common practice back then. I was 15 at the time, and if I had any doubts about becoming a developer, they were gone. It's fun and it makes money too. Sign me up. To give you a taste of what it is like to make game mods, let's make a Minecraft mod. Although the process of making a mod for a game isn't the same for every game, this should still give you a feel for it. I will choose Fabric to make the mods with, as I myself want to try something new instead of working with the good old Forge. The mod in question won't be that complex because that would take more time and be more than I want to put in a single video, but if you'd like to see more Minecraft modding content on the channel, let me know in the comments. We're gonna make a mod that will add a new ore to the game, called Platinum, and all the tools that you can make with it. To get started, let's first set up our modding environment. First, we need to make sure that we have the Java 17 or newer installed and get a code editor for Java. I'll be using IntelliJ, although you can use any other editor. Next, we need to open up the Fabric example mod on GitHub and either use it as a template or download it. I'm going to remove the license and readme files as they are about the example mod and not our mod in particular. Let's open up the Gradle properties file now and change the archive's base name and Maven group values. We can now import the project into IntelliJ by opening build Gradle file and telling it to open it as a project. Now we need to wait before the Gradle does its thing and then close and reopen the project, as that fixes run configurations in IntelliJ. It is recommended to change the Gradle settings to make it build with built-in IntelliJ compiler. To do that, let's open up the Gradle settings and change the build and run using and run test using fields to IntelliJ IDEA. We are ready to run Minecraft to test out if we did everything correctly, but IntelliJ will complain about the output path, so let's add that in first. Now we run the Minecraft client, and if all goes well, we will see Minecraft up and running. Let's close down the client and generate the Minecraft source now. Fabric can't ship it with the project, as that would be illegal, but we can do it ourselves by running the gen sources Gradle task. Having Minecraft source is really useful, because most of the time you figure out how to make things by looking at the vanilla code and how they implemented it. It's actually a great skill to have, and modding like this helps to hone it. Looking at a foreign project full of code and understanding can be hard but very useful. I'm going to now open up the Fabric mod.json file to change some information about our mod. Mod ID is very important because it is a unique identifier for our mod. We are going to be referencing it a lot in the code and resource files. Let's go down to entry points and change that to the package we're gonna have for our mod. And let's delete the mixins because we're not gonna be using that in today's mod. If you want to know more about mixins, Fabric has a great article about them in the wiki. Now I'm gonna rename the package in Java directory and the assets.modid directory in resources. Finally, let's open up the main mod file and define our mod ID as a static final field to easily use it anywhere we need. Ordinarily, I would create different classes for initializing blocks, items, and so on. But for the sake of simplicity, I'm gonna do everything here. Let's start by defining two blocks, platinum ore and deep slate platinum ore. These are two variants of the ore that we're gonna spawn in the world. We need to pass in the block settings into the constructor here. I'll just make it the stone material settings copy. Let's write a method that will help us register these blocks into the game. It will take the block itself and the name, which is going to be used in the identifier for the block, together with the mod ID. When we are registering a block, we also want to register a block item, which is the actual thing you can have in your inventory. One thing I forgot is to add strength to the blocks, basically how hard it is to break and how resistant it is to explosions. Let's find the strength value for iron ore in the Minecraft source and add the same here. Now let's make the block look good in the game. For that we need four things: a block state JSON file, a block model JSON file, an item model JSON file, and the block textures themselves. Let's first make the directory structure for these things. All of them go in the assets/mod ID, in this case platinum ore / and the name for the folder. That would be block states, models. In the models would be models block, models item, then we have textures, and in the textures we have textures block and textures item. Now let's just copy over the needed files from iron ore and add some changes. In block state files, we need to change the model key to the path of the model file for our block. In this case, that would be platinum ore :block/platinum ore and deep slate platinum ore. In block model files, we need to change the texture path, same logic as in block state file. In the item model file, we just need to reference the block model. And for the textures, I just changed the colors in the iron ore texture. Let's boot up the game and check it out now. We will need to use the /give command to give our player the blocks because we haven't added them to any item groups for creative mode yet. Now let's make it generate in the world by default. To do that, we need to create a couple of JSON files in a new data directory. Minecraft used to have everything in code in the old days, but has been switching to data-driven structure for a while now. That's why we have so many JSON files doing things. We need to first create a platinum ore JSON file in the data/modid/rollgen/configured feature directory. That's long, I know. This file will tell Minecraft that our ore types can replace stone and deep slate in the world. Next, let's create a placed feature which will tell Minecraft things like minimum and maximum Y level of the ore, how many ore veins should it spawn in the single chunk, which is a 16 by 16 by world height chunk of blocks, and so on. All that is left is to add the placed feature in the biomes, for which we first need to get the registry key for our newly created placed feature, and then add it as a feature using Fabric Biome API. Let's try finding it now. I'm going to use a special command that will clear out a lot of stone beneath me, so we won't have to search too long. If we break our ores right now, nothing will happen, because we haven't added any loot tables for it. Before we do that, we first need to create the raw platinum item that will be dropped. Might as well make the ingot variant too, which we are going to use shortly. I'm going to add a new method similar to register block to make registering items easier. Now let's register the items and we can start working on the loot tables. To do so, let's create the loot tables/blocks directory in the data/modid folder and copy over iron ore loot table files from vanilla. I'm just going to modify the drops here and nothing else. I'll also add the item models and textures for the raw and ingot variants. Let's test it out now. We should be able to break the block and get the raw platinum back. Next up, we need a way to smelt the raw platinum into the platinum ingots. For that, we once again need to create a new JSON file in the data/modid/recipes folder. I'm going to copy over the iron ingot recipe here and change the items. Also, I'm going to remove the group because we don't have one and it only affects the recipe book. Let's test it out once again. We should be able to smelt the raw platinum into ingots now. Let's create some tools now. First, we need to make a new tool material. Tool materials govern over how durable the tools are, how fast they are, and so on. You can see already defined tool materials in the tool materials class in the Minecraft source. Let's create a new class called Platinum Tool Material, which will implement the tool material interface. I'm going to fill in the numbers and repair ingredients for our materials and create a static instance of it, as Fabric Wiki recommends. Now back in the main mod file, let's create 4 tool items for our 4 types of tools. They need some arguments to be passed in, the tool material, attack damage, attack speed, and the new instance of the item settings. Attack damage and attack speed are added to the tool material values by certain calculations. Let's register these tools now and add recipes for them. I once again copied the iron version recipes here, but just changed the iron ingot ingredient to platinum ingot, and the outputs to platinum version of the tools. Let's test it out. Well, this mod is done now. You can do a hell of a lot more here. This is a very simple showcase of what can be done. We haven't covered many things like block entities, blocks like furnaces, GUIs, fluids, etc. We haven't even added any of our items to creative tabs or made a language file which would display the item names correctly. But I think this was enough to show you how it's done. If you want to see more modding content on this channel, please tell me in the comments below. This was a very fun video to make and I hope you enjoyed it and got something out of it. If you liked the video, please click the like button and subscribe. If you didn't, there's always the dislike button. Thanks for watching and until next time.